Hey everybody! There is a fun new stencil release today from Altenew, and so I'm going to show you how to create some quick mixed media note cards, just a set of cards that all use the same techniques and the same imagery and create beautiful multimedia prints. So I'm starting with this beautiful leaf stencil. I love all things botanical, and so a stencil like this is just useful for so many different kinds of prints. You could use it as a Christmas background and add little berries, or you could do sort of all season prints using different colors, which is what I'm going to do today. And one of them does end up looking Christmassy, so that's fun. Now I have my 5x7 gel press here. It is set up on a piece of freezer paper that keeps the oil from coming out of the plate onto my work surface. And I'm adding some golden open acrylics. Now you can see that I did not start with a clean plate, and that's my favorite way to print, because if there's a little paint left over from the last session, then it makes its way into your prints in fun and unexpected ways. I'm adding just a tiny bit of fluorescent pink. I wanted some really bright, kind of hot colors in these prints because this is such a bold stencil. So these will come out looking very fiery and fun. Now I'm removing a lot of the paint so that I have a thinner layer to print with, because as I said, we are going to be doing mixed media, so I will be adding another medium after all of these prints are done. Now this first print is just going to pick up what's in the opening of the stencils, so this print will be a layer that I will then print on top of, because it will have so much open area that it's going to need a little something else. But here you can see that abstract look that it gets, even though this stencil is very crisp. Now I'll lift up the stencil and I'm going to pick up what remains on the plate. You can see from the paint on my stencil that if I put this back down onto the gel press now, it would transfer paint, which is another fun technique. So here's what that looks like. You can see what was left on my plate that got pulled up with this print. That's always so much fun. And there's still even a little bit more that I can pick up. And I'll just use a clean piece of paper and pick up a print to sort of clean my plate and also become the base layer for another print. I love that dot pattern that's in there. That was from some bubble wrap printing that I was doing the other day. Now I'm using golden open acrylics, and so they stay wet a little bit longer on my stencil, as you can see. And again, then you get kind of a 2-for-1 technique. Some of that paint will transfer onto my next print, and that's great. I never clean in the middle of a printing session because you get that fun alchemy that happens when you have a stencil with wet paint on it. Now the fluorescent pink paint that I'm using is not an open medium, so it dries a little bit faster. So I have a mixture of drying times in the paint that I'm using on this print. So I will mix these together. Again, these are really bright, fun colors. I'm going for a thin layer one more time, and I'm just going to repeat the same process. I will go through this with acrylic paint for several prints, and then we will switch mediums. Now you just want to make sure you don't have too much paint on there. That's why I'm going over with a clean brayer and lifting some paint off. Sometimes my brayer cleaning sheets end up being my favorite in a printing session. Now I'll just press that down. That's going to transfer some of the paint. And then I will pull a print. Again, this is just going to leave large white open areas on the print, so it'll be the base layer for another printing on this gel press. That is a beautiful color. So I will lift this up and we'll see if some of that fun fiery color transferred onto the plate. These second pulls are usually my favorite, so this should be fun to see how this comes out. Ooh, that is beautiful. That looks almost like a verdigris, the way those mixed, and you can see some of those yellows that did transfer from the stencil, and that is just magical when that happens. I love it. Now here's the first one that I did. So it has those white open areas in it. Same with the blue one. So we will take some alcohol ink and I will fill those in. And that white of that paper that's left there, as opposed to the last two prints where we had lifted the stencil, is really going to let that color pop into those openings left by the leaf stencil. Now you have to be pretty quick so the alcohol ink won't dry on the plate before you get to pull it up. But look at the contrast of that orange and purple. Isn't that just astonishing? And you can see how the purple doesn't make the orange into brown. That still shines through because it's a transparent medium. This is one of my favorite ways to finish a print. So again, I'll hold the print in my hand so that I can get it on there very quickly while the ink is still wet. And you don't have to worry about precise placement because it's just a single layer with one color. So it doesn't matter if you get it on the plate straight or anything like that. Oh, that is just gorgeous. That purple just makes everything else pop. Now I'll show you the difference between printing on top of one print that has more detail, like this one, which was the second print, then printing on just the single print that had the open areas with white paper. But you'll see it's still such a great look. So I'll coat the plate with the alcohol ink, pop that print down there, and this is going to be just a beautifully layered print. But it's not an involved printing process. It's really, really simple. So the lighter areas have the more intense purple. Other than that, the purple just enhances those colors that are underneath. So here are the prints. That one I think I'm going to leave. I love that verdigris look. I think that would make a great Christmas card. And then these are the other prints that I've added the purple alcohol ink to, and I just think they're fantastic. This one will be a bottom layer for a future printing session. It has lots of great detail, but it needs a few more layers of color. So here they are, side by side. The alcohol ink helps them dry quickly. And I have some other stencil projects for you on my blog today, along with a giveaway. So head on over there, and thanks so much for watching.